Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Fireside chat on low code platforms, the secret sauce for maximizing business impact. My name is Sachin Guliani, and I lead the LTI Mind relationship from Newgen. We are joined by two industry leaders for this discussion: Yusuf Zai Khan, Head of Low Code Practices and Center of Excellence at LTI Mindtree, and Ritesh Verma, Vice President for Product and Solutions at Newgen. Welcome to the show, Yusuf and Ritesh. We are so pleased to have you with us today.
Thank you, Sachin.
Thanks, Sachin.
So we can quickly jump into the discussion without wasting a lot of time. Newgen being a company specializing in unified digital transformation platform, of late we are seeing a lot of trend that a lot of enterprises are shifting to low code for building their applications these days. So Yusuf, what do you think is the reason behind this sudden shift to low code across enterprises?
Yeah, the trend towards low-code adoption is helping enterprises accelerate the pace of development by democratizing how software is being built to include business users. Low-code has the potential to bring major software projects back on track while keeping the cost low. And it uses the existing technical talent present in the organization, right? The lack of skilled developers is not the only reason, in my view, for low code growth. In the digital marketplace, low code has taken a unique place due to its ease of use and the outcomes it delivers, right? The ease of use has led many companies to consider this as a framework for core IT development. And as we all know, according to the prediction by Gartner, 70% of new application developed by 2025 will all be on low-code platform. And this is a huge jump from 25% back in 2020.
Great. Your views on this, Ritesh?
In fact, if you look at it, Khan Sahab is actually right in saying that by 2025, 70% of the applications would be built on low code. But I think it's also about the nature of the environment today. So, what COVID taught us was that suddenly your business environment can change. Now, if you look at it from an India perspective, uh, something that was cutting edge, that was agency banking till around 2018 or so, suddenly in 2020 become a no go kind of a strategy. So businesses change in a jiffy. Low code, what it's doing for organizations is, as Yusuf said, that making it the power of building something is going back to the business users. And also it's impacting is that the speed of implementing something, that is bringing things back on track, as was said, and also the speed to change. So the the only logical way to look at low code today by businesses is to get an insight into what they're doing, how quickly can they implement something, and how quickly can they change for making it better as they go along.
Absolutely well said. That makes a lot of sense. So, Ritesh, as Yusuf was talking about keeping the cost down and accelerating the pace of development, it is also important to understand its impact on two things. One is IT, and the other is business processes. Because, of course, these two are the backbone of any enterprise. So,
Hmm.
how, according to you, does low code platform adoption impact IT and business processes, especially if you talk about the speed to market and innovation, etc.?
So if you look at it, as I said earlier, the entire impact of low code is on speed. The speed to market, learn from what you've already delivered, and speed to change. So that's one of the things. In fact, if you look at it, what it's also impacting is how low code is being kind of utilized into many facets. It's not just about speed, it's also about kind of utilizing it to automate or transform the organization. And also, it's all about kind of doing things in the right way in order to make that transformation to happen. So, if you look at it, many an organizations are depending on a mix of things for making this transformation to happen. It's between business, and engineering to kind of go about delivering what is actually required for transforming organizations.
Right.
No, I totally agree with Ritesh, right? As he said earlier, the whole disruption is caused by COVID, which has accelerated the trend. The low-code approach holds the promise to accelerate digital transformation by lowering the technical barriers and enabling more and more teams to innovate and build sophisticated apps without requiring programming knowledge. These low-code platforms are used by businesses today to generate value and stimulate innovation across multiple industries. Enterprises can now supply new capabilities quickly and supply on demand without needing to depend on their IT teams. Software development environments, they make it possible for people with little or no programmatical knowledge to design and change the applications, right? Businesses are increasingly depending on cutting edge solutions like low code platforms nowadays because they want to build the apps quickly as they embark on their digital transformation journeys.
So, Yusuf, talking about a lot of businesses, we have seen enterprises across industry verticals reap benefits of low code, uh, be it BFSI, be manufacturing, logistics, or any other industry for that matter. Would you want to share any examples of customers that are leveraging such platforms for their businesses?
Oh, yes, there are numerous examples, right, across industry verticals, uh, almost all of them, right? Just to name a few, in banking, at least in our customer base, what we are seeing is our customers in the industry, they use low-code platforms to implement the popular use cases are customer onboarding, KYC, loan originations, customer engagement, and even to automate some of the back office operations. Likewise, in insurance, some of our insurance customers, they are using predominantly the low-code platforms for claims handling, underwriting, policy administration, risk and compliance. Manufacturing industry, again, right? They use it for order management, contract management, field services, leveraging some of the mobile or offline capabilities that these platforms provide out of the box. And even the oil and gas industry, right? Use cases like well performance optimization, refinery turnaround, transport, and distribution. These are some of the examples of popular use cases across the industry, Sachin.
In fact, if you look at it, Sachin, as Yusuf said, it is just across industries that it gets through. In fact, in a nutshell, you can't survive in business if you're not kind of following low code. It's all about agility that it brings in. It's all about, so if you look at it at an overall level, I find low code to be addressing three streams or three facets of things. One is the customer experience. Second is the operational excellence that comes along with it and works in tandem or needs to work in tandem. And finally, it's all about the business innovation as to learn from whatever you've done and bring it back into the innovation side of things for predictability, prescriptability, operations to be optimized, and things like that. So once this thing is being addressed, anything and everything from an automation perspective becomes a liable candidate for low code adoption. So as was said, it's all about onboarding, servicing, claims, or the entire life cycle with a customer can be managed on this. And when I say it's a customer, it's all about customers, vendors, or any touch point of an individual or a person with the organization is a liable candidate for potential candidate for low code adoption or automation at an overall level.
Right. So, in short, whichever industry you belong to, there's always a use case that you can adopt.
Sachin, in fact, if you look at it, even the core systems today are potential candidates for a rewrite on low code.
Mhm.
So it's all about kind of moving from a very, very monolith kind of an application to something which is agile, flexible, secure, and probably in the future leverage the power of the cloud is something that is today, and everything and anything today can be written on low code.
No, I
True,
totally
absolutely
agree,
true.
right? It started with these enterprises looking to automate the long tail apps on a low code platforms because they saw that as a quick wins, right? But as Ritesh said, now it's no longer limited to those long tail apps. Low code platforms are very much be used for core enterprise applications as well. Yeah, totally agree.
Right. So low code is basically spread across all the verticals within an organization. Uh, However, Ritesh, for the organizations who are willing to adopt low code platforms, they would be concerned about things like their security, their scalability, flexibility, etc. So, what would be your message to such organizations willing to jump on the low code ship?
So I would relate it to transformation. So low code is all about transformation of an organization. For adopting a solution or for any transformation to happen, you must define an end goal as to what you want to achieve out of it. It's not just about the tool, it's also the governance that comes along with it. So, as I keep on saying, a fool with a tool is still a fool. So, you have to build governance around it so that you don't become or act like one. The governance, what it will help you do is put that yardstick as to where you want to be, what would be the milestones to achieve it, and how and who would you kind of engage at the right point of time in order to make that a possibility. So it's just about low code is more about engineering rather than coding. So why I call it the engineering is because if you have to build a 32-story skyscraper, you need to kind of have timelines in place or governances in place to kind of understand how deep the roots would be, how and when would the floors be laid out, when would the plumbing team come in, when would the electricians come in, and when would the entire thing come into place. So when you're assembling something like a low code on something like a low code, it's like building a huge building together, and that's when the transformation would happen. You need to have your milestones correct, and also you must have checkpoints which will help you kind of put guardrails to it. And those checkpoints can be enabled by AI, which can be on low code, to kind of make corrections to the processes as and when you require to be done.
Yeah. So talking about those guardrails that Ritesh said, right, Sachin? These low-code platforms, they don't really compromise on data security, right? But in many cases, the developers are required to decide about the permissions, access controls, and configurations to ensure data security, right? The risk will emerge only due to the way the data is partitioned and stored in these low-code platforms. So, depending on the low-code platforms we choose, we can either put some restrictions on the use of the data and type of information that is being shared. A lot of enterprise-grade top-tier platforms extend countless opportunities for modern businesses to exercise control over their core data. And you also talked about, the flexibility and the customization options, right? These options purely depend on the platform that we choose, right? Some platforms, they may have limited customization options, while others, they even let you access the underlying code, right? So it is therefore advised to check the customization limits of the platform before choosing one. And integrations, it's a key thing, right, for any digital transformation. And these digital transformation cannot happen in an absolute isolation, right? They must integrate with other systems and to consume the data, share it with other systems. And many low code platforms, they provide these integration connectors out of the box.
In fact, if you look at it, low code is all about assembling it together. And
Very true.
as was mentioned, it's when you orchestrate your existing investments, the ecosystem that exists, and all of these, that's when a low code assembly actually starts to work. So it actually makes sense. Integration and things like that actually make a difference, and that too on configurations.
So, as we were speaking about integration capabilities, data security, customization, and flexibility, uh, I understand that it's not always going to be a smooth sail. So, Yusuf, I know you have been a veteran in the industry. So, it is important that along with knowing what to do, you must also be aware of what not to do. Can you point out some of the challenges the organizations face when adopting low code platforms, and how can they be addressed as well?
Yeah, very good question, Sachin. See, organizations, in my view, should be prepared to know how to leverage the out-of-the-box features that these low-code platforms they have to offer, right? Uh, it enables these low-code platforms, they enable rapid development uh, to reduce the overall custom building requirements for the overall software development lifecycle, right? Certain components like tasking, workflows, document management, dashboards, and other ad hoc reports. They are all built on the platform. They can be, as Ritesh said, it's more of a configuration, how you leverage these out of the box capabilities to configure and to stitch these things together, right? And without proper governance, right, the citizen development, it can open the door for IT vulnerabilities, poor quality software, and other such issues. So in my view, we should be aware of the capabilities which are available out of the box in these platforms and ensure proper governance around the citizen development, right? While citizen developers, they don't require programming skills or deep level of technical expertise, some familiarity with the software development fundamentals is essential in my view, right? Uh, so adjusting the overall operating model, identifying the personas, the backgrounds, and interest of their employees can prepare citizen developers for a specific role around execution, managing, and leading some of these low-code initiatives.
Right. And in fact, if you look at it, uh, the biggest mistake that people do is to trivialize low code. They think that low code is good to kind of build simple applications or build simple processes. I feel that they have to look at low code as a philosophy and imbibe it into the core mesh of their organization as such, which basically means that they should be prepared to kind of look at an organization wide transformation via low code. What it basically means, it's not just the customer facing processes or outward facing processes, but also it has a lot of impact if done correctly into the internal facing processes as well. So if you look at it, it can be as simple an application like an HR leave approval to as complicated as a lending system being built or a trade finance being built. So the opportunities are immense. However, one thing related to it is that you must define as to how it will be rolled out. Having a goal in point is very, very critical. So, what would be the MVPs for each process? How would it be rolled out? Who would be the key stakeholders? Assign responsibilities and then take it to the next level. It will really, really make that thing transformational for you rather than one or two processes. You can actually transform an organization.
Mhm. So, Ritesh, you've kind of partly answered the next question that I was going to ask you, especially talking about the best practices. Can you also throw some light on such practices for organizations when it comes to choosing and implementing such platforms for their businesses?
So actually, if you look at it, Sachin, there's no right tool for it. It's the comprehensiveness of one tool which can actually kind of ease out your nuances. So as I said earlier, it's all about attacking the customer experience, stitch it together with a seamless operational excellence, and continuously innovate to kind of make it entirely business decision oriented and descriptive, prescriptive, predictive, and things like that. So, at the end of things, you must look at a tool which enables you to encompass your ultimate goal. It has to integrate with the ecosystem. So how strong the integration capabilities are, which are the ecosystem which is already present with it, to help this nightmare to be the eased out? So how can integrations be kind of taken care of? And ultimately, as I said earlier, that governing body to the whole thing with the tool is very, very critical. The top management ownership of the whole program is very, very critical. Otherwise, it's just a tool. You'd keep on experimenting with it without anything going live. So you have to really, really handle it with delicate gloves so that you are able to kind of make a difference with it. And just don't get bogged down by one process or an app going bad. There are thousands of things to be done, and ultimately, it has to be all integrated together. Keep that fundamental in place, and I'm sure it'll reap results for you.
I think Ritesh covered it pretty much, right? In my view, some of the factors to consider is, as Ritesh said, evaluating the integration requirements and identifying and evaluating multiple use cases, right, before choosing a low-code platform, because each platform offers different functions in different areas. They are not all equal, in my view, right? Hence, we have to look at the platform which fulfills the use cases of the organization, which a set of use cases that we want to deliver, uh, so that you are not choosing a platform basis just one use case, but we consider multiple application development needs, and we do a thorough research and testing multiple low code platforms. That is one. And then integration, Ritesh already talked about it. And the other factor is reviewing the DevOps, hosting, and governance options that are available. Because with low code, while it is giving you an option of rapid development of applications, once the applications are built, what options or the capabilities does the platform provide to quickly take it to production, right? From dev, there are multiple hops till you hit the production environment. So the DevOps tooling, the hosting, and the governance option, it's really key, right? That determines the overall turnaround time to deliver an application. And finally, our customers, they evaluate multiple pricing models. So the local development platforms, they serve different businesses and have various pricing models. Uh, some offer end user pricing, meaning you have to pay higher amount if you have more application users. And some platforms, they price by metrics, scale, and development of applications or number of cases, if you will, right? Uh, so these are the pricing models. So based on which tier or which metric is more cost effective, you can go with the platform.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. This is really insightful. I'll not hold on to you for a longer time now. Thanks a lot, Yusuf and Nitesh, for sharing your views. I hope this was useful for the viewers looking to adopt on the low-code technologies. We really appreciate your time and valuable insights that made this discussion interesting. And if you have any questions about the discussion or anything for our speakers, please feel free to write to us at info@newgensoft.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sachin.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ritesh.
Yusuf.
Thanks, Sachin.
Bye.